Welcome to The Abundance Journey, the show that helps spiritual entrepreneurs create an abundance mindset that accelerates revenue. Secretly, everything you experience in your life is actually abundance. Once you understand how to activate abundance, you find yourself in flow with your business and clients, so it's easy to create the revenue you want. The Abundance Journey is the only show that activates abundance for you, so you enjoy rapid results in your business. Here's your host, the Abundance Ambassador, Elaine Starling.
You know, sometimes dealing with the pressures of life leads us to make choices that just don't really support our health and well-being. You know, we look for ways to distract ourselves. We're trying to numb the pain of that negative voice inside. Not loving ourselves as we are can turn life into a nightmare. That's why I'm so delighted and honored to chat with Gina Kunadian today. I am screwing up her name left, right, front, and center, but that's because she's so freaking brilliant, and I'm so excited to interview her today. This woman is the most compassionate, loving soul you will ever be honored to meet. That's why I'm thrilled that we're chatting with Gina. She's a devoted wife, loving mother, certified massage therapist, and a fiercely compassionate sobriety coach. Yeah, she's working with women who struggle with alcohol dependency. Gina is dedicated to guiding women to break free from the shackles of alcohol, enabling them to realize and live their fullest potential. I have so much respect and regard for everything that Gina's doing. She's also the host of the podcast Shine Within. Gina shares inspiration and transformative insights that cultivate unwavering confidence, clarity, and vitality in her listeners. Having personally triumphed over alcoholism, Gina is deeply passionate about championing others on their journey towards sobriety. Gina has a secret weapon. She's got this unique transformation shine process that provides steadfast support and illuminates the path of recovery and self-rediscovery. I love that about Gina. She's helping people tune in to their own divine nature so they fall in love with themselves again, and they don't have to find ways to distract themselves from that nasty inner voice. Gina, thank you so much for joining us today. I've been looking forward to this forever.
Oh my gosh, Elaine, I am so grateful and so excited to be talking with you. Like, I need to listen to you describe myself, because I'm like, wow, that's me. What? Oh, wow. It's amazing.
Well, what you're doing really is amazing. And you are creating these incredibly profound transformations for people who stop believing in themselves. And you're able to give them the baby steps they need to get back in alignment with who they truly are and the divine within. And I just so appreciate the work that you're doing. It's so desperately needed. And I'm just over the moon having you here. But before we get into our conversation, I can't wait to do that. I always start with an intention. Our intention is what we want to create together and how we want to feel about it as we create it. Now, it's so important to take that time to set the intention, because we're actually aligning with the divine within. We're aligning with the God of your understanding. It's almost like spiritual GPS. Especially the way I structure the intention. I always start with in love and light. To me, that's letting the God of your understanding know that we recognize they're here and an active participant in supporting this intention being the truth, the reality. This is what we're creating together. Then we state the intention. It's almost like typing into a spiritual GPS. Here's where we want to go. And then, of course, I say thank you, because that's polite, and I want the divine to know how much we appreciate it. At the very end, I say it is done, because that's a reminder to us we're done typing. We don't have to keep typing. We've fulfilled that part of the contract, okay? Now, the part that I am learning to really savor and really enjoy, and I'm learning to say that kind of stuff around it, I hold it for 78 seconds. And the old me used to say, oh my gosh, it feels like forever. And I don't say that anymore, because whatever you say is true for you. So now I'm celebrating that it's really fun and easy to hold this intention for 78 seconds. Now, there's a couple different little tips and tricks that I'll share with you that makes it even more fun. I like to pick 2 or 3 words out of the intention that really feel expansive to me. They feel like really high energy, high vibration, really connected with the divine. And I just will repeat those 2 or 3 words over and over again as I'm holding this space, this 78 seconds. And I also tune into my body and I notice any like ripples of heat or cool or tingling or anything that's happening in my body, because the body is a great big antenna, a big receiver. And what we're doing by setting this intention, we're getting the energy to move in this direction. So those signals from your body are a sign that the divine's already getting the energy to move. Like we're already making progress. And it all starts with the energy. And, the physical reality is the tip of the tail at the end of the dog. It starts here. So it's really exciting to see that showing up so quickly during 78 seconds. So yeah, it's really interesting because the latest research shows the average human being has a shorter attention span than a goldfish.
My.
I know, it's kind of scary. If you watch a commercial, they have all these really quick cuts, and we're so used to that. Our brains are so used to flipping from one thing to another to another. The God of your understanding has a really tough time locking in on your signal. So when you can hold it for 78 seconds, it's like, oh, they're really serious about this one. Okay, we'll help make that happen. So just consider this to be part of the game, part of the fun in playing with the divine. Are we ready to play?
I love this. I cannot wait. Yes.
Okay, I'll read the intention and then I'll start the timer for 78 seconds. In love and light, we hold the intention that we release all fear and anxiety from our body, mind, emotions, and spirit, replacing it with divine love. So we notice and appreciate our strength, resilience, and safety. Thank you, divine. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It is done. We give thanks, and so it is. Wow, you're good at this. You are amazing. I felt so much energy. Every single heartbeat, I felt it radiate all the way through my body, like down and up, down and up. And my hands were cold when we started. Now they're piping hot.
Oh, wow. I'm feeling nice and warm as well. This feels great.
It's amazing. It's amazing when we just set, this is our destination. Here's where we're going to go. Thank you so much, Divine. Through the course of our conversation, you'll see how we actually create this intention together. And it's not like we have this scripted or we have it planned. This is just where we're going. And it's all through divine guidance, which I absolutely love. I've got a ton of things that I want to talk to you about. Oh my God, I've been so excited to chat with you because I have witnessed, I have seen your fierce compassion for those who are struggling with alcohol dependency. Why are you so passionate, so determined to help people who are dealing with this issue?
It's a beautiful question. And of course, it started with my own battle with addiction, with alcohol. And I actually had to go through that pain. I had to really go through it in order for me to understand and come out of it differently and a different person. And now I have the passion to help other women because I know that it can be done. Here I had no confidence within myself. I had no love for myself. I felt really worthless, hopeless, and in despair. And for someone as a female, that's hard because around us, we try to be like our friends, looking cool and everything, but we really don't know who we are when we are masking ourselves with substance abuse, alcohol, any type of addiction. We really truly cover who we are truly inside. And so I'm so passionate because I want to help women transform in who they can be, who they are created to be. And that is love and light, and just to have them shine their light to the world because the world does need them.
It's so true. It's so true. And people are always like, yeah, but who am I to think I could do that? And what about, there's so many other people who are more qualified, blah, 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 blah. And yet there is no one who sees the world, experiences the world the way you do. And you are honestly a miracle in action. I heard about something recently that really lit me up. It's called joy spotting. And I think one of the challenges we have when we're dealing with addiction, I have more of a food addiction than an alcohol addiction, but there are plenty of addictions. There's shopping, there's sex, there's television, there's social media scrolling. I mean, you name it. There's like 30 different, very well documented addictions out there. And just about everybody can relate to it. If they don't personally experience it, they know somebody who does. And this practice that I heard about is called joy spotting. I love the idea that just through the course of your day, maybe it's a yummy cup of coffee, and you just really savor this moment of bliss with this cup of coffee, or the way the light shines through the tree and just illuminates the leaves, or a flower or bird song. I mean, it can be anything. It can be the joy of a pen that works really well and how it feels in your hand. There is so much joy in the world. And we often block ourselves from the awareness of joy that's present. When we can tap into and hone in on these little bits of joy. I did that last weekend. I had the best weekend of my entire life. And it was nothing special. I mean, I did all the same things I always do every weekend. It wasn't anything different, but the way I experienced it, the way my heart opened up, it was just like otherworldly.
Goodness, it reminds me of the time that I come home from work sometimes, and over in California, there's a 101 freeway, and to Palo Alto to San Jose, it's like crazy busy, always in traffic. So I've learned to actually appreciate the stillness at the moment and start saying, you know what, this is a great time for me to listen to Elaine's podcast. This is a great time for me just to learn something new, a great time to even like talk to myself kindly and then just be still for that moment, because I am obviously still for a reason. I'm stuck in traffic. So just that pause in itself is nice. So I totally get what you're saying.
You remind me of a little story I have to share. Many years ago now, I was attending Weight Watchers, and my husband would go with me. He'd hang out in the local Lowe's enjoying that thing while I did my Weight Watchers thing. So it's early in the morning. I haven't had anything to eat. I haven't had anything to drink. I have to weigh in, not my favorite thing to do. And here we are, we're going, it's totally quiet. And even though there's no traffic on this road, we're hitting every single light turns red just as we get to the light. And there's nothing there. There's nothing waiting. And I'm looking at my husband's fingers on the steering wheel, and he's gripping it harder and harder, and he's muttering things under his breath. He's getting really ticked off with all these stupid red lights. And finally, I was like, darling, I'm on this positivity kick, right? I am choosing to believe that every single thing that happens for me is for me. It's a blessing. And I'm supposed to tune in and pay attention to the blessing that is here for me. So I'm going to be grateful for every single red light because there's something here in the environment that I should be paying attention to that will enrich my life. Maybe it's the flowers in the median because we're looking at things we could do for our front yard. I think those would be great. Maybe it's the kid in the back of that car in front of us and we can make faces at him and be silly and playful and get everybody laughing. That could be really fun. Maybe it's watching the elderly couple holding hands.
Yeah.
They're still deeply in love as they cross a parking lot.
Mhm.
And someday that's going to be us, honey. It doesn't matter what's going on. It's a blessing. So he's like, yeah, okay, fine. The light turns green and we start going. And I see the light in front. Okay, it turns red again. Here we go again. And we're slowing down, like way far before we're getting to the light. We're slowing way down. And I look over at my husband. He's got this little smirk on his face. And I'm like, oh, you're cheating. Get up to that light right now. Because I told him one other thing. Red lights mean smoochies.
Oh, yeah.
Every time there's a red light, you have to give me a smoochie, a really big Smurpy one. And he was like, oh no. So I turned it from something that was a source of aggravation and frustration into something that's playful and fun. And I think so often we forget to do that. Life can be playful and fun, but we have to bring the fun.
Yes. Yes. It's like that saying, if you're not having fun, then you're not doing it right.
That's so true. That's so true. Well, I always ask people this question, and I've never heard the same definition twice. Obviously, given the kind of work that you do and the transformation that you create with your clients, going from struggling with alcohol addiction to sobriety and self-confidence and self-esteem, how would you define what abundance is for you and your clients?
Abundance is not just having more, it is actually being more for me.
Yes.
Being more, especially when you're fulfilled you're fulfilled spiritually and emotionally. Everything just comes together. You feel like, okay, I don't have the biggest house. I don't have the nicest car. I don't have the riches, but I have abundance. I have abundance. And I feel it because it's whatever I have. And I look at it like, wow, I am so grateful that I have this. This is amazing. Like even to a pen, like you said, I'm grateful that I have a pen here. So
Yeah.
it's just being more, being who you are. And then once you are who you show the world who you are, the world will then appreciate it. And then the world will be more abundant. Whoops, there goes my phone.
Throwing things again. You're so right. You're so right. We have the opportunity to experience abundance in every moment. And that's why I created the 5 steps to activate abundance. And we're going to activate abundance at the very end here, but it's so powerful because this is how you focus your attention. We started with an intention. Now we're shifting to attention, where you put your focus, and you want to focus on all the things that you love, that you appreciate, that you value, that bring you joy. Because that is there in the exact same instant that all the things you don't value, that you don't like, are present. It's strictly a matter of what you put your focus on. And the more you focus on what is wanted, the more of what is not wanted starts to drift away. It starts to just completely leave your awareness. It's amazing what happens. Now, obviously, Gina, you've worked with hundreds and hundreds of different people, and there are some people who are not ready to make that transition into self-power, into honoring who they truly are. What are the characteristics of people who are ready? And you can see the fire inside them. You can see that they are ready for this entire transformation. And it's not that other people aren't capable of it. They are. They're just not ready to do it. And there's some doing involved. There's not just a, hey, wave your magic wand over me, right?
It's those who are willing to do the work. Once you're like, you know what, it's not working for me how I'm doing it. Let me ask for help. And that is the biggest thing. I think for myself, I never asked for help. at all. For me, it was just, I can do it by myself. I can do it by myself. My ego took over. I really had to humble myself and say, you know what, you cannot do this alone. So even for me personally speaking, I had to seek out help during my sobriety journey, the beginning of my sobriety journey, to a mindset coach who literally helped me with everything. And like my clients, they follow everything that I ask them to do or suggest to do. Like, hey, try this out. And if it doesn't work well for them, let's try something different. I like to meet them where they're at. And then they just get so happy because they're like finding new joys in their life, or discovered that, hey, I'm very passionate about doing makeup, or hey, I'm very passionate about exercise. Hey, I'm passionate about cooking. They're starting to learn who they are. And they have so much joy in their life, and all of a sudden it's like, who are you? So it's so exciting to see that. And you can see it in their appearance. You can see it there in their body language. You can see it just in them speaking. It's just so beautiful, and it like warms my heart. It kind of gets me emotional to see the transformation. And it's like, oh, I get goosebumps.
It is magical. It's so magical. You know, it's really interesting. Just a few months ago, I was in my kitchen and I was doing dishes. I was just kind of musing over, why is it sometimes we've got something we're working on and it just all comes together perfectly, easily, beautifully. And there's other times when we're working on something and it feels like such a flippin' slog, like nothing is coming together, and it's so irritating. And I immediately felt and heard a really loud, forceful voice. And it said, when you deny your power is denied to you. When you acknowledge your power is shown to you. You are more powerful than you can imagine. And I was kind of blown away by that. And I realized there are times when I'm using language that is not owning my power. I'm abdicating my power, or I'm playing small, or I'm pretending that I can't create what I want in my life. It's not true, because if I want to and I'm committed to it, I can create it. And I don't remember who said, I think it might have been Marianne Williamson, who said, our greatest fear is that we're more powerful than we know. Mm. And I think that is something that a lot of us struggle with. And so we've got that negative voice going, oh, yeah, right, sure, you think yeah, right. And we can choose words that really make a difference to us. Is there something that you experienced? I mean, you had to go through a transformation yourself. You mentioned that you had to go through the pain, you had to dig into the pain, you had to own where you were in order to come out the other side. What do you think is that thing that we have to be willing to do internally that allows us to make that shift, that transformation?
Oh, it's a beautiful question. Vulnerability, self-compassion, and grace.
Ooh.
Yes.
Ooh.
It wasn't until I was vulnerable enough to share my actual story that created me to win a scholarship to a business coaching group. And because I did a video, they're like, let's just do a 2-minute video. I'm like, you know what? Let's be vulnerable. There's like 5,000 people on this group page. You know, I'm going to be showing myself out there. Let's do it. Why now? I really had to step out of my comfort zone and get a little bit uncomfortable. And that's what I did. I really was vulnerable in sharing my story. And I think it like touched people's hearts, because I was getting messages, you know, hey, I'm going through the same thing, or I have a family member who's going through this. And I'm like, wow. And they feel like they're not alone. And giving yourself that grace and compassion, you know, so often we're so hard on ourselves, so judgmental, have that shame, that guilt, like the stigma of addiction. But really give yourself a hug and say, you know what? I have awareness on what's going on, and I'm going to get better. And you'll see, because once you have that self-love for yourself, there's no stopping, like with that divine love that you have and that inner guidance that's there to help you to go through whatever you're going through with you.
Yeah.
Transformation happens. Let me tell you, it's amazing.
It really is. It's just so so incredible. I want to share one more story with you. When I think I've mentioned to you before, I was really blessed to have a stroke on New Year's Day 2005, because during my stroke, I got to have a conversation with our higher power and get a complete download about how everything works. Now, I have a wonderful life. I have a great husband, a wonderful family. I have never felt such intense, all-encompassing love in my life. I mean, every single molecule of my body was saturated in love. And it was just an incredible experience. So I came out of the stroke with zero damage, no problems at all. But I'm like, oh my God, I want more of that all-encompassing love. It was like a Niagara Falls of love. And I'm like, wow, I want more of that. Hold the stroke, but I want that on tap, and I'm going to turn it on high like all the time. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So I started doing all this research, and how do I tap into the divine? How do I really get that insight, that intuitive hit? And I tried meditation, I tried all these other things, and everything said you just have to allow. You have to open yourself up and allow it to come in. And I was allowing my little heart out. And yeah, every once in a while I get a download. It always felt really good, but it was more like a leaky watering can than Niagara Falls. And so finally I did my morning meditation. I'm sitting there for guidance, and I'm a little chapped. I'm like, why is this allowing thing working for me? And I immediately got this message back. What's the image that comes to mind as soon as you think of the word allow? Now, no two people have the same relationship with words, so I'm not putting this on anybody else. I'm strictly sharing my story and my experience. But I immediately saw myself behind a door with a chain on the door, and I'm peeking out the door at the divine, and I'm terrified. I'm completely terrified because I can't control this. I don't know what's happening. And that's when I kind of tripped to the idea. For me, the word allow is a mind-based word. And my mind wants systems and processes and structure, and it's got to be a duplicable outcome. I should be able to create the same outcome every time, and a guarantee of the same outcome every time would be really nice. That's what my mind wants. I'm like, okay, well, obviously that's not going to work with the divine, because the divine knows a heck of a lot more than my mind is ever going to be able to understand. So I need a word that's heart-based, that really represents the kind of relationship that I want to have with the divine. And it wasn't automatic. I really had to think about it. But finally, I realized my word is welcoming. Now I welcome the divine. I welcome abundance. I welcome opportunity. I welcome incredible collaborative conversations like this one, because I don't know what's coming. And I don't have to know. Mm-hmm. I just know it's always a blessing.
Yeah.
That makes all the difference in the world. Is where are you coming from? What is your expectation? Because every moment is designed to be a blessing for you. The challenge is you're the only one who can let it in. And if you're always looking at all the things that do not work for you, you're blocking the blessing. You're immediately shoving it away. If you instead focus on, how is this an opportunity for me to grow and learn and discover more about myself and practice being my higher self? How can I speak nicely to myself in this situation? That shifts everything. That turns every moment into a blessing. But you're the only one who can let the blessing in. That's the challenge. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. 100%.
Well, obviously, it would be really nice if we had a magic wand and you could just go, poof, everything's good now. That's not usually the way it works, because we get to develop a sense of strength and personal mastery by taking little baby steps in the right direction. So if you were going to give us one or two baby steps, what would you recommend we start with?
Just little mindset shifts, for example, so you can have a renewed sense of hope and then a moment of gratitude. For me, I love this simple exercise that I do in the morning time. I have my morning ritual that I love doing that gets me set up for the morning, for the day. I will go ahead and literally time myself for 1 minute and then share what I'm grateful for. It could be my cat, my kids, the sun is out today, I'm breathing. anything. And then that really sets up my day.
That's fabulous. Absolutely. Gratitude is the beginning of everything you want.
Yes.
I mean, when you start to think about it, you can't experience love until you're grateful first. You feel that connection with somebody else, and then you experience love. Then you experience joy. Then you experience abundance. It's always gratitude first. So I love that you're anchoring in gratitude at the beginning of every day. No wonder you're having such an incredible day. I'll have what she's having. Yeah. Oh man, I am so grateful that you joined us today. But you are even more generous than this because you've got an incredible free gift for the audience. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, it's my 6-step blueprint to living alcohol free, but it's not just for alcohol, it's for any type of addiction, really. And it's the steps that I've embraced, that I've taken in my own sobriety journey that I still do to this day. That brings me so much joy and structure in my life. And I'm so grateful to share that with your audience. And I love it because honestly, I feel like it'll fill you up with even more abundance.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm so grateful to you for sharing this with us because simple steps is really all it takes. And I know that when you're struggling, it can feel super overwhelming. So to have someone in your corner like Gina, and now that you have heard or listened or watched this podcast, your energy is perpetually connected to mine and to Gina's. And we know you as the divine being that you truly are. We see your brilliance. We see the perfection in you that you might not see in yourself right now. So lean into that, trust that, own that, and download Gina's free gift and follow her 6 steps because this will truly make a huge difference in your life, whatever kind of addiction you have. If it's video games, if it's television, if it's overeating, like one of my addictions, this will make a big difference to you in your life. And Gina, I can't wait to download your blueprint because I'm going to be following it step by step. I really appreciate you doing that for us.
Thank you so much, Elaine. I appreciate it.
Well, we always like to turn the table on our guests here at the Abundance Journey because we know when we give is when we truly receive the most. So what can we do to support you?
Oh, I would love for your audience to go ahead and tune into an episode of the Shine Within podcast. I have beautiful women guests that come on there and then share their expertise in mindset, health, spirituality. And if you resonate with an episode, I would love your feedback.
I love your show. It is brilliant. It is so insightful, and you have the best guests. And man, yeah, I love your show. So definitely, I'll be doing a video review for you as well as a review on Apple. Yeah, it's so good. You don't want to miss this. I mean, honestly, sometimes you find a gem. This one's a gem. You want it.
Yes, and then your podcast too. If you can go ahead and share this podcast episode as well, I'd be so grateful.
Awesome. Well, you've left me with a bit of a dilemma because you had so many brilliant points that you made, and now I have to pick just one of them to do the Activate Abundance segment around. Wow. All right. Well, stick around, everybody, because we're going to be back in just a minute to Activate Abundance. Hi, it's Elaine Starling, the Abundance Ambassador, and I know since you're listening to this show or watching this show, The Abundance Journey, you really want to experience more abundance in your life. Well, that's why I wrote the book, 5 Steps to Activate Your Abundance. It's available for sale right now from Amazon, from barnesandnoble.com, and many international sellers. And I want you to pick up a copy because I'm really opening the kimono here and sharing all of the information you need to experience abundance in every single aspect of your life. The book's divided into 3 parts. Part 1 is called Meeting the Divine. This is where I share my near-death experience and the conversation I got to have with our higher power during my stroke. In Part 2, Messages from the Divine, I share the best practices that I was given, the secret sauce in how life actually works. And so you understand really why you're here and how you can make the most of your life so you love every single moment. And then in the part 3 is partnering with the divine. That's where I go into each of the 5 steps to activate your abundance and explain exactly why it works so well. So take a moment to pick up a copy. It's available as an ebook, a paperback book, an audiobook, and a video course. So however you like to absorb information, abundance is waiting for you. Isn't Gina amazing? Oh, I love her heart. I love her compassionate energy. She's so open and so welcoming and so just loving. I love her energy. It really is transformational. You can tell she makes a massive difference for her clients. Step 1 to activate abundance, step 1 is always gratitude. And I learned so much from Gina today. I wasn't joking when I said I took a ton of notes. I really did. Go back and listen to this interview again, because you're going to get more and more and more out of it every time you listen to it. I loved what she had to say. And the second thing is to acknowledge something you heard that was a little bit of an aha for you. At one point, she said, vulnerability, self-compassion, and grace are the components to truly experiencing a transformation. And it hits home to me so hard when she said that, because I don't always share my experience with other people. Just to be open with you, I have really struggled to be open about my conversation with the divine. I thought people will think you're nuts. People aren't going to believe you. People don't want to hear that. And, who's into this spirituality stuff anyway? I told myself all these silly things. And yet, when I am vulnerable, and I'm stepping into part 3, which is appreciate the difference it can make in your life. When I am vulnerable, I give other people the opportunity to step into who they truly are, because it means I'm holding the space for them. And spirituality is something that actually connects every single one of us. It doesn't matter what socioeconomic scale you're on, what gender you are, what religion you are. Spirituality and the fact that you are a divine being connects everybody. Sometimes people are ready to hear it and ready to own their own power. And for those people, they can hear my message. But if I don't get vulnerable, if I don't share, I'm cheating them. I'm not just cheating me, I'm cheating them. And so it was a very clear reminder from the divine through Gina. Thank you for being my angel today, to step out and own my truth and be vulnerable, be willing to share my stories and not worry about how other people are going to take them, because the people that get it will want more. The people that don't get it will turn away. They won't even hear it. They won't remember it 30 seconds later. And that's okay. Everybody is where they are on their journey. It's perfect. Step 4 is to activate abundance. This is where we've got 3 different ways we can do it. The first way is grab a calendar and schedule time for this transformation. I'm going to be vulnerable on Monday at 10 o'clock. Doesn't really work. You can also journal during that time. I love journaling as a way to schedule some of these behaviors. The second option is to create a physical trigger where maybe you cross your fingers or you tug on your earlobe as a reminder. I'm going to be genuine. I'm going to be authentic and vulnerable in who I am, share my truth with the understanding that I'm actually creating a space for everybody else so they can see themselves. It's not really about me. It's about them and their opportunity. So I can do a physical trigger, or the third way to activate abundance is to declare what you're going to do and ideally share it with an accountability buddy. So get people to remind you, are you really stepping up? Are you really sharing who you are? So I'm going to do all 3 because this is something I'm really passionate about. This is something I absolutely want to adopt in every conversation. Be my true, authentic self and be vulnerable. throughout the conversation, because that vulnerability, it's like you put down your weapons and you're there to give someone a big hug with however they are in whatever situation they're in. You're honoring who they are because you don't have to defend yourself from who they are. You're just going to love them in whatever situation they're in. And that's truly how I want to be in the world. I haven't always done that. So I'm going to schedule time to journal every day and talk about it. I'm going to have my physical trigger, crossing my fingers or tugging on my earlobe. And I want you to hold me accountable for it. I want you to make sure that I'm coming from my truth and sharing my stories. Step 5, celebrate your progress. This is what it looks like when it's working, okay? This is not about overnight, it's not the way I want it, and poof, now magically I won the lottery. That's not how it works. It's baby steps in believing in yourself, in owning the divinity within, in owning your own power, in speaking your power by being willing to be vulnerable. That is the ultimate power. That's true self-love. Thank you so much for joining me and Gina today. Isn't she amazing? Gosh, I love hanging out with you, and I can't wait to see you again for the next episode of The Abundance Journey.
You've been listening to The Abundance Journey Show with Elaine Starling. Visit theabundancejourney.com/podcast gifts to access today's gift, as well as gifts from our other guests. Tune in every week to activate abundance in your life and business. If something resonated with you, please share it with your friends so they can benefit too. Keep activating abundance, and we'll see you in the next episode.